After decades of silence, Mia Farrow opens up about the day that altered the course of history. In January 1992, she entered Woody Allen's room and beheld images that would profoundly unsettle her. Still, it wasn't the worst discovery they made. A series of horrific events unfolded, including allegations of abuse, lies, and long-buried family secrets. At the age of 79, she is prepared to reveal the horrific truth about the man she regards as her greatest life mistake. The 9th of February, 1945, was the birthplace of her in Los Angeles, California. She came from a long line of Hollywood employees. Her mother, Maureen O'Sullivan, was well known, and her father, John Farrow, was a well-known writer from Australia. Jane was portrayed by Maureen O'Sullivan in the Tarzan films of the 1930s and 1940s. Mia came from a large family of 7. She was born and raised in the affluent neighborhood of Beverly Hills. Her family's mansion was a popular hangout for A-listers. Her family was Luella Parsons, a formidable gossip writer, and George Cukor, a renowned director, were her godparents. Mia enjoyed theatrical play when she was younger. She enjoyed putting on spooky little performances with fake blood and toy knives for the tourists who stopped by her house. The short film, Unusual Occupations, film taught Holiday, featured her when she was just 2 years old. That she would pursue acting as a career was evident from this. Her childhood was not without its flaws, though. Her father's heavy drinking caused frequent arguments with her mother. These arguments made Mia reflect on her family and relationships at a young age. Her family also placed a high value on faith. Despite their piety and adherence to Roman Catholic law, they led a glamorous Hollywood lifestyle. All of Mia's relatives were educated at Catholic schools in Los Angeles. She inherited strong principles and a sense of responsibility from her religious upbringing. She later felt compelled to help others and adopt children from diverse backgrounds as a result of this. When Mia was 9 years old, a horrible thing happened. She contracted polio in 1954, the same year that many others in Los Angeles did. For 3 weeks, she was required to remain in isolation at the hospital as part of the quarantine protocol. She experienced pain in her legs, back, neck, and shoulders as a result of the disease. At one point, she needed an iron lung to assist with her breathing. Separation from her family was as challenging for her as being ill. The nurses treated her badly despite her fear and confusion. One of the nurses told her she was exacerbating everyone's problems while she sobbed. The treatments were terrible as well. Mia particularly despised the use of hot packs. She later remarked that polio gave her the impression that she had aged rapidly. After that, she no longer felt protected or safe in the world. Instead, it became terrifying. Another tragic event befell Mia's family when she was 13 years old. Michael, her older brother, was killed in a plane crash. At just 19 years old, Michael served in the Marine Corps Reserve. On October 28, 1958, the accident occurred close to Pima, California. Everyone in the family was devastated. The situation got even worse for her dad, who was already struggling with alcoholism. Her parents' already violent arguments escalated as a result. While Mia and Prudence were in England, they were enrolled in a nunnery. Even more isolated was Mia's state of mind after learning of Michael's death while she was away from home. Following Michael's funeral, my daughter Mia returned to her Surrey school. Her family resided in a Chelsea house. After a period of staying in London, even though everyone was struggling, Mia noticed that her parents were fighting more than usual. In 1963, Mia's father passed away, and her mother took her to New York City. Here, everything shifted. She got her start in the industry as a model before stepping into the stage. That was no easy feat. Even though she didn't get the parts she auditioned for, she kept trying. As a child, this was her very first bit part. It was nothing out of the ordinary, but it prepared her for what lay ahead. These setbacks taught her to persevere and keep trying. Her efforts soon yielded results, and she started to expand her business. As Liesel von Trapp in 1965's The Sound of Music, she had an audition for a major role. Despite her disappointment, this was a watershed moment. Her acting and singing abilities are on display in a screen test that is still available today. It demonstrates her exceptional talent from an early age. Because of how popular The Sound of Music was going to be, getting the part was extremely difficult. Mia persisted despite being rejected for the job. Her life changed the moment she landed a role in Peyton Place. Even though it was a missed opportunity, she continued on her journey. The role that brought Mia fame was that of Allison Mackenzie on Peyton Place, which she played from 1964 to 1966. A small town and the people, places, and things that happened there were the focus of the show. Mia is best known for her portrayal of Allison, a lovely but troubled adolescent. Every week, millions of people tuned in to watch the show. As far as television soap operas go, it was one of the pioneers. It was Mia's masterful portrayal of Allison that drew in viewers. Being popular wasn't without its drawbacks, though. The media began to chronicle her every move and devoted considerable coverage to her marriage to Frank Sinatra. Her professional life was overshadowed by her personal life. After 2 years, Miss Mia left Peyton Place at Sinatra's urging in 1966. Leaving the show was a watershed moment in her life. Then she started focusing on film roles, which led to her breakout role. In 1968, Mia starred as the title character in Rosemary's Baby, a psychological horror film directed by Roman Polanski. In the role, she portrayed Rosemary Woodhouse, a pregnant woman who gradually realizes that her world is in danger, a tale of betrayal, terror, and the dark side of human nature. The film was well received and earned over $30 million. Critics lauded Mia's performance for effectively conveying Rosemary's bewilderment and terror. Her work was praised by Roger Ebert. This scene changed the way audiences perceived female horror film actors and catapulted Mia to stardom. Rosemary was more than a helpless victim. She was an engaging, multifaceted character. Its cultural impact was so great that it was added to the Library of Congress in 2014, solidifying its status as one of the finest horror films of all time. In addition to catapulting Mia to fame, Rosemary's Baby revealed her extraordinary talent and set the stage for a string of memorable, one-of-a-kind roles throughout her career. Among the most infamous and contentious in Hollywood history is the one involving Mia Farrow and Woody Allen. A Midsummer Night's Sex comedy, released in 1982, was their debut feature film together. Over the next decade, she appeared in 13 of his films. Originally set to be played by Diane Keaton, Fox played Ariel. Farrow was introduced to Allen's comedic style, and the film marked the beginning of a long creative collaboration, despite the mixed reviews. Not long after that, in Zelig, Farrow portrayed Dr. Eudora Fletcher. Leonard Zelig was a man who could blend in with any crowd, and she was a therapist who helped him. The film was an odd blend of fantasy and fake news when it was released in 1983. Her performance was characterized by composure and conviction, and critics lauded the collaborative effort between Farrow and Allen on this novel concept. Then, in 1984's Broadway production of Danny Rose, Farrow portrayed Tina Vitale, a gangster's obnoxious and impolite lover. Wearing dark sunglasses and speaking with a strong New York accent, the part was completely out of character for her. She gave a stellar performance that earned her a Golden Globe nomination. Because the role demanded so much of her emotionally and physically, Allen went so far as to say that it was courageous of her to accept it. She delivered a powerful performance in 1985. The Purple Rose of Cairo. Farrow portrayed Cecilia, a waitress who seeks solace in the movies during the Great Depression. Her performance as a naive girl who experiences heartbreak earned her another Golden Globe nomination. Many consider it one of Allen's finest films, and it was well received by critics. The part that moved me the most was when Farrow acted it. After collaborating on several critically acclaimed films by Allen, the two of them joined forces in 1986 for Hannah and Her Sisters. The other characters in the story are all interconnected through Hannah, portrayed by Mia Farrow, a steady and loving woman. The picture was a smashing success for Allen and won multiple Oscars, despite the fact that Farrow didn't receive any nominations. Farrow brought a subtle strength to the role that would have been hard to notice without her performance. Radio Days, which was released in 1987, showcased Farrow's comedic side once more. She portrayed a cigarette girl named Sally White who dreams of becoming a radio celebrity. It was endearing and humorous to watch her journey from being insecure and having a squeaky voice to finally having confidence in herself. Late that year, she starred in September, a deeply introspective and ominous film. Lane, played by Mia Farrow, was a trauma survivor who was struggling to cope with her emotions in a cramped flat. She was able to explore more somber, dramatic territory in this demanding role. Though the film bombed at the box office, Farrow's sincere performance was a highlight. Farrow portrayed Hope, a disturbed woman whose therapy sessions are overheard by the protagonist in the 1988 film Another Lady. Her performance proved that she could have an effect in a supporting role despite her small part size, and the story benefited greatly from her presence. Although Allen's Crimes and Misdemeanors didn't come out until 1989, Farrow had appeared in numerous of his films prior to that. The character she portrayed was Hallie Reed, a documentary filmmaker whose romantic life was in disarray. Her supporting role may not have been the most important, but she brought richness and complexity to a film that was lauded for its examination of ethics and interpersonal dynamics. The 1990 film Alice starred Mia Farrow as the title character, a rich housewife from Manhattan who goes on a fantastical journey to rediscover who she is. For this role, for which she received another Golden Globe nomination, critics praised her ability to convey both vulnerability and humor. Farrow was able to showcase her versatility in this role, which allowed her to display both her serious and comedic sides. Farrow played the role of Ermi, a peculiar sword swallower in a traveling circus, in the 1991 film Shades and Fog. The film paid homage to the expressionist cinema of Germany. Despite the mixed reviews, Farrow's performance brought the entire cast to life. Their 1992 film, Husbands and Wives, was their final collaboration.